Okay, now we're going to focus a little bit on a discussion regarding the transferring of the keys and how that works. You should have your notes open to page 36. We're going to be doing question 15, and we're going to be doing the comment of Tosfos on this issue. So there's two words for this Tosfos that are worthwhile to remember. One is ein nira, it doesn't seem, means that he's disagreeing. And secondly, the ha means because. Okay, question number 15.1, as a review, Rashi explained that the reason that the person that has the keys on the night of the 14th, which is the maskir, that is the landlord, or the socher, must do bedika is because the keys represent the kinyan, that is the finalizing the ownership or the rights to the domain. So whoever has the keys at that critical moment when the night of the 14th starts, he has to do bedika. If he happens to be the landlord, then he does it. If he gave the keys before the 14th started, then the tenant, because the tenant has the keys the night of the 14th. And again, the reason is that the keys represent the completion of the transaction, the kinyan. Okay, now let's take a look at Tosfos Dibur Amaschil. Im mishemasar hamafteach. So Gemara was talking about if after he gave the keys. Perush Rashi explained, the Mesiras HaMafteach Kone. Rashi explained because giving the keys over is the kinyan, that's how you acquire the rights. Ve'ei nira leri, the Ri disagrees. The reason is, the ha, because, Amar be Meruba, it says in Meruba is the name of a perek in Meseches Bava Kama, page Ayin Tet Amud Aleph. The Gemara there says the following: Keshem shekarka niknis bekesef beshtar ubechazaka, just like karka, land, which is real estate, can be acquired with either kesef, meaning cash, or a document in which you sign and you transfer the ownership, or chazaka, or you do an act to show that you're the new owner. For example, you change the lock to the entrance of the property, or you make a fence. Says the Gemara, just like land can be acquired through these three methods, kesef, shtar, and chazaka, kach, so too schiras, karka, nigne bekesef, vechule. So too the rental of real estate is acquired through money, etc., meaning these three same ways. So the Gemara is comparing the acquiring real estate with rentals of real estate. And the Gemara says that there are three ways to acquire real estate: kesef, money; shtar, a document; and chazaka, and taking possession. So too you acquire a rental. Velo ambrinan, and it doesn't say in the Gemara, the mehani mesiras hamafteach. The Gemara there does not mention that giving the key is a way to acquire a rental. So the problem with Rashi is that where does Rashi get the idea that giving the keys is a kinyan when the Gemara listed three ways to acquire real estate, and the Gemara goes on to say that the same way that you acquire real estate through these three methods, those are the same three that you acquire rentals and nothing else. Ela kamandi amar lach chazek vekani. The key is only as saying, go and take it. Like when you buy a car, for example, you do all the paperwork, and then they give you the keys. The keys is not the kinyan. The key is just here, go take it. But you did all the legal work before. So the keys is not a kinyan. The keys is just giving you in your hands the access to have the entrance into the property that you just rented. But the kinyan, the legal work of transferring the ownership, must be done, says Tosfos, like the Gemara seems to say, only through one of three methods that also work by acquiring real estate. Kediambrian behapar, like the Gemara says. Umefarish ri, therefore the ri explains, de'acha shemasar lo hamafteach, that we're talking about here a case where he gave the keys, velo echezik, and there was no chazaka before, meaning he didn't take possession of the property, and therefore mi sheyesh biyado mafteach, and therefore the one that has the keys, keshechal yudalet, when the night of the 14th starts, chayav livdok, he has to bedika, meaning he has the keys, So he didn't do any of the three kinyanim on the property. There's no transference of the rental, not by kesef, not with the shtar, and not with chazaka, but he has the keys. Still, the Gemara says the one that has the keys on his hands at that night has to bedika. Why? They also she'em beyadu mafteach, because the one that does not have the keys, echi kanes ve'ivdok. How in the world is he going to get inside and check? So according to Tosfos, the keys just represent access. It's not ownership, it's not rights, because rights have not been halachically transferred. There's no kinyan. But still, the one with the keys, says the Gemara, has to do bedika, not because he owns, as Rashi said, but because he is the one that has access. The other one does not have access. Mihu, however, points out something very important. Im hifkid adam mafteach beiso etzel adam acher. If a person deposits his key by somebody else, eino chayav hanifkad livdog. The one who received the keys as a deposit for safekeeping does not have to do bedika. And this all happens with our neighbors. My neighbors gave me the keys, and I hold their keys. So does that mean that the night before Pesach I have to check the premises? Says Tosfos, obviously not. Why? Because I'm just safekeeping their keys. Because keys only obligate the person holding the keys if eventually there's going to be a possession. He's going to take a chazaka. He's going to finalize the transaction. But if just holding the keys for safekeeping, in case my neighbor gets locked out, that of course does not obligate me to do bedika. All right, so let's look at question number 2 in your notes. Tosfos disagree with Rashi. Let's see why. Number 1, what are the 3 ways to acquire land? So the Gemara mentions that's either through kesef, meaning you give cash, or through a shtar, you sign a document. Or number 3, you make a chazaka, which means you take possession. Possession means that you change the lock, or you add a fence, or you move in there. Number 2, what methods may be used to acquire the rights to a rental property? The Gemara says the same 3, because the Gemara says just like you acquire land with these 3, so too do you acquire rentals with the same 3. Number 3, why does Tosfos disagree with the reason given by Rashi? Because the Gemara did not mention that giving keys is a way to acquire a rental, and Rashi claims that it is. Question number 3, according to Tosfos, what is the reason that the person holding the keys on the night of the 14th, the masker or the socher, must do bedika? Because that person happens to have access. So even though he doesn't legally have the rights to the place, that's going to happen later, but since he already has the keys in his hands, the access is what obligates him. 4, is the one holding the keys always required to do bedika? The answer, says Tosfos, is no. Why? Because you might be holding the keys not because you're going to take eventually possession of the domain, but because you're holding the keys just for safekeeping, like in the neighbor example that I gave you. So therefore, holding the keys does not automatically obligate someone. The Gemara's case is he gave him the keys, and then later on they're going to do the kinyan. Later that night or in the morning they're going to sign a lease, or he's going to give the money. But right now he has the keys, so whoever has the keys right now has to do bedika because he's the one that has access. Okay, next time we're going to take a look at the commentary of the Ran, and then we're going to go to Shulchan Aruch and see some very, very interesting applications of issues when there are keys or lack of keys, access, multiple keys, codes, and so on. Stay tuned.